All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 16 of Top End Talks. I am one of your co-hosts, Adam Jones, alongside my partner in crime, Kwame Owua, or Kevin, and he doesn't have a hood on, which means he got a cut. He got a cut.
Yeah. No hat means I got a haircut, everybody. You already know what it is. We back at it with another episode. Hopefully, you guys tuned in to our last episode with Forge FC head coach and now technical director, Bobby Smyrni Ortiz. Yeah, that was a great episode, great talk. Couple of technical difficulties. He almost forgot his kids at school. Because he was so interested. Because he was so interested in our conversation. He was so interested in chopping it up with us. So, I mean,
shout out fucking did it on his birthday too, man. Like, he's on his birthday
as well. It was ridiculous. It was a special day. So I'm happy that we got that interview. Still working on a couple more, and yeah, we gonna bang out these episodes, and hopefully you guys continue to enjoy them.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, speaking of that, obviously we talked about with Bobby, what's next? What are you gonna do next? Fucking signs an extension like a week later. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And if Bobby, if you're hearing this, you could at least spilt a little bit of tea when you're here so we can get the drop first. Exactly. I don't want to be a journalist, but like you could have given me
I can be. Jesus.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You could have given me a little bit. We go way back in the day, bro. You could have given me a little bit. But
so
we
the
good.
Cameras are off.
Yeah, cameras are off. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes. I want a couple shout outs. Shout out to Kicked Up Culture, of course. Always be rocking. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to everyone that has played in the Canadian Championship games. A lot of interesting games that have gone. Obviously, TSS Rovers was a Cinderella story. We'll get into all of that. Toronto FC is another one that we'll get into. And their quarterfinal bout with Montreal, CF Montreal. I still call them Montreal Impact. I don't know about you.
In my head, I do, but I correct myself. I correct myself every time I go.
I always stop myself. Whitecaps against York United, of course, in Toronto. That's like 10 minutes away. York is like 10 minutes away from my crib. So hopefully my homie's going to go watch. And just catching up on everything. But first and foremost, how are you doing, brother?
Doing good, buddy. Just getting prepped for a summer, man. Like FTF Canada Summer Series is coming up. So it is going to be, I think it's 6 provinces in 7 weeks.
What are the provinces? All right, before we get into soccer, what are the provinces that you feel like, damn, I wish I didn't have to go there? There has to be.
Honestly, for me, it's anywhere in the winter. Summer's kind of okay. Like summer's chill. You know what I like? Again, like I think like if we had more downtime, say we were there for like a week and the combine was 2 or 3 days of the week and we had all this downtime, I could go fucking anywhere, man. Like if I go to Halifax, which by the way, I've already been to Halifax. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. I'm going to go golf at Cabot Cliffs is like top 10 courses in the world. It costs like $300 a round. I'm fucking going. If I'm there and I got downtime, like it's a complete unique experience. I'm going.
Yeah.
If I had time. Like the events are 2 days. We arrive pretty much the day before, prep, event, and then we leave the next morning or the night of. So it's like we're kind of in and out so fast that it's not like there's really too much to do. To be honest with you, like you can go out if you want, but you're just kind of, I mean, I've done it and I'm probably the one on the team who does it the most out of anyone else. But like Montreal was a blast.
Oh, 100%.
Montreal was a ride when we were in Victoria for Winter Wave, and in the winter even still, like Victoria is a fucking sick town because it's a college town. So we went out in Victoria. We were out with when Bustos was still there and stuff. You know, we went out with all those guys. So
I've had time in Victoria as well.
Oh, Victoria is a blast, buddy. Like I've been there. So when we were growing up,
it's just lame that when I was there, they didn't have no Ubers, bro.
No, they have a different app. They still don't have it. No, it's a different type of an app. It's not Uber, but it's like Uber.
Bro, I had to take taxi from at a hotel. Yeah. Yo, nah, man, we have to take taxi right now. This is so old school.
I'm actually gonna look up what the yellow. It's like Yellow Cab of Victoria is like the app. Like you really have to call.
I can't believe I'm sitting in a yellow cab right now, bro. I'm like, I'm in New York or what?
Yeah, exactly. Right. They still have that, but like it's a college town, right? Like it's a small town. And I remember when we were growing up, like our biggest thing, like when we were 19 and we were playing in like our summer league here, was like, when do we play Victoria? Is it on a Saturday? okay, we're all paying for a hotel room. Like we're all paying for a hotel room Saturday night because that was like the trip that we liked the most. That one and going up to the interior were like the two trips that you're like, these are the ones we're going.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But so Saskatoon this year we're going to. That's when we actually start in Halifax, sorry.
Okay.
In June 17th, 18th. I'm not going to that one. Just being way on the West Coast.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you guys were you guys going from east to west?
Not quite. So it's a little different. So we're starting in Halifax on the 17th, 18th of June. Then we go to Edmonton. So I'll be in that one from June 28th, 29th. Then we are in Saskatoon from July 4th and 5th. Then we have a little bit of a break because some of us are taking a little retreat for someone's bachelor party. And then we're in. So then we have
shout out to the CEO, CFO. Shout out to my guy who's panicking right now because Arsenal's in second, but we talk about that.
Yeah, he's bottling it with them. So we got a little bit of a break, a couple day break there. And then we're in Montreal from the 11th through to the 14th. There's a show. We're running a showcase tournament on the 11th, 12th, and then 13th, 14th is our combine in Montreal. So half of us will be there, and then the other, me and Shane Satara will be here in Vancouver, running the Vancouver event on the 13th, 14th as well. So we have two events going on at the exact same time. And then we're in Toronto the following week from the 21st to 23rd, I believe, or 18th to 21st, the following week, and then it's top 60 week. So that's again in Toronto at OSA, and then it's the girls on the 24th, 25th, boys on the 26th, 27th, and then I got to fly out the night of the 27th because I've got one of my good friends' his wedding in Squamish. So I gotta.
So how do you fit that whole schedule? Because now you're a coach as well. So how do you go about telling the parents of the team, all right, guys, like I have other obligations. Like, how does that go? Is your assistant coach got to step it up then?
So, well, first of all, I am the assistant coach.
Oh,
I'm
damn,
not the head coach.
You're a bad assistant. You leaving the man hanging.
No, so this is actually the funniest thing because we have this inside joke at our club that actually I'm the best assistant coach, mainly because I've taken half of our games already. So my head coach, the guy I work with, who's one of my this is the guy I'm going to his wedding.
Oh, okay.
He's been the assistant coach with SFU women's soccer. So he's missed a ton of sessions and games because he's traveling with them. So I've stepped in and taken those games already. That's number one. Number two, we were really upfront with the parents and told them exactly what the deal was and who we are and what we do and what our career aspirations are beyond coaching. And then number three, I'll be straight up and honest with you. Soccer in BC ends in June, man. All of this shit, I'm free. I don't miss anything. Actually, like the provincial cup finals would be the weekend before we leave for Edmonton. So Saskatchewan's midweek, so I'll miss a couple things midweek, but I'm back. So if we're playing that weekend, which I think is Edmonton, I don't miss anything. I don't miss anything.
Schedule
so Halifax, it just kind of worked out that way. I don't know, but yeah. So from a coaching perspective, it actually works out okay in a time like this. And then when the winter series comes around, we got to see what the schedule looks like and when I'm traveling and whatnot. But it gets a little weird. So we'll see. Like we're talking about trying to do a travel tournament next summer. So that's something where there might be some conflicts, but it just kind of worked itself out for the most part.
Hey man, don't forget to collect them air miles, bro.
Amex, buddy. I got Amex points. Love it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like I wish I started doing earlier in my career.
Oh, so here's like a good tidbit for anyone because like I mean, obviously working at a startup and finishing off school and all this stuff, like I mean, I've never had a lot of disposable income available to me.
Yeah.
Yet I got an email from the bank yesterday saying, here's a $30,000 line of credit. You're pre-approved. I just bought a brand new car, 2023, because my credit's like 850 because I don't use my debit card. All I do is use my Amex and my Visa. I've got like 35 grand of credit on those that I never get near. And I just pay it off on time. Like that's how you build credit, and that's how Like that's
Trust
how
me.
you get ahead and stuff, right? Like
Mhm.
if for any of the young watching, like you need a fucking credit card is a necessity. You need to start building credit when you're younger. And then again, if you're smart, like my Amex, I get 5 times points on food. Grocery store, groceries, whether I'm going out to a bar,
Use
have a couple of
that.
drinks. I'm just hitting that one all the time because I get 5 times the points. Gases, I get 3 times the points.
Hmm.
So
People
it's
don't
just
know. There's little tricks. I didn't know until my second year, and I think I was so into like save, debit card, because like I'm like that's the money that I see. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I know exactly like
You can
what's
see it.
going
You
in and
can
out
see
of
it go
the
in and
account.
out. Exactly. Yeah. You can see.
Yeah.
You
So
can
it's like,
see
yo, I don't
inflow
want
and
to. I'm like,
outflow.
I don't want to spend money that's not mine. But once I got used to like understanding the like line of credit and all that stuff, then now that's what changed the whole ball game. But yo, your summer seems action packed. My summer is gonna be the same thing that I'm doing now, but it's gonna be a little better
There you
because
go.
my recovery from injury, I'm a little ahead of my recovery, which is a great thing. And
Massive.
yeah, I'm just happy to be around the guys again. And even though last night was a disturbing loss, we got a red card in the first 10 minutes against Columbus Crew, MLS contender team, and shit happens.
Oh
So
my god, that is the worst possible thing.
yeah, it's like, bro, I was like, I don't even know what these guys expected
That's
us to
worse
do.
than conceding a goal in the first 10 minutes.
We
And you're
did
like,
too. We did that. We did that as well. Yeah,
oh
we
boy.
we did that in the first 6 minutes, and then got a red card 4 minutes later. So after that, it was just a long day. Final score 5-1. If you guys are interested.
Yeah, that's one of those
But
ones where you're now like looking at it going, hold on, we're down a man, we're down a goal in 10 minutes. We're gonna it's like a fight for survival at that point.
that's it. There's a lot of things that we could go into and how to like survive under with a man down. Like even if the team's good, like you have to force them to beat you and not give them easy looks. But that's a whole different ballgame. But Columbus Crew is Columbus Crew at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's also like doing it against not it's not like you're playing another USL team. Like
yeah, that's
playing
what I mean.
one of
For
the
a
best
man
MLS
down
teams
again, no offense.
where
Yeah, it's
it's a
like Columbus
cup
one.
game. You kind of have to take risks to try and get a goal as well. You can't just
That's
be
what I
like
mean.
sit here and settle. Like the goal difference doesn't fucking matter.
No.
Like the fact
So
you guys were able to go and score is probably more of a positive than
yeah,
anything. You know what I
in
mean?
the 88th minute penalty. The
Who
fact that we
cares?
got to the 18, that's crazy. A man down, and Columbus is a possession-based team. Wilfred Nancy is a really good coach, so
Well, we
it was
saw it
good.
with Montreal last year, man. We saw
Yeah,
what Nancy did with Montreal, man. He's
yeah,
a top coach.
yeah. I chopped it up with Mo Farsi too. He was there, did well. He's the one that drew the red card, so I was like, damn, that's crazy. But it was good. It was a good game. I mean, you can definitely see the difference in the quality of playing. Like there's not one time where, I mean, maybe in the second half, like when we started like pushing a little bit more because we had nothing to lose, but there's not one time where I felt like their players felt they were rushed on the ball. And that's a testament to the system.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you can throw in second team players and like the game still flows the same way, then imagine like when you have a Zeleriana and Cucho on the field, like that's when it's like a super spark. So
Yeah, I think Columbus is one of those clubs where you look at the way they've built and
mhm.
how they've built like a culture that I don't understand why more teams don't look at that and go,
But
oh,
you know who the GM is there? The old TFC GM, Tim Bezbachenko. First year there, they won the MLS Cup.
I thought wasn't there rumors of them having to move Columbus too?
No, they just moved stadiums. They got a new stadium.
Oh, okay. I thought there was
Bro,
a rumor of them actually having to like relocate the team to another
yeah,
state or something like that.
those original eight MLS teams will never leave. Like
Well, no,
DC,
no,
Chicago. I think it's
some of them have
DC,
left. Yeah, like
DC.
Tampa Bay was one, I think, way back in like way back in the day. Like
Like
when
I'm
they
talking
started.
about like the original '96. Like Columbus Crew, was it the Columbus Crew, Chicago, DC, Galaxy, LA,
Wasn't New York,
Dallas Burn. That's
Dallas
what that was called.
Burn?
And then I don't, maybe I think New York definitely was one.
There was the Metro Stars.
Metro Stars, yes.
Tim Howard.
Bradley and them played on that. I remember that.
That was Tim Howard left Metro Stars and
Yeah.
went to Man United.
Yes. Wow, that's crazy.
Fucking crazy, buddy.
What a fucking jump to greatness.
Well, it was Clint Dempsey, I think. I don't know if he was with the Metro Stars. Clint Dempsey did the same thing. He jumped from there right to Fulham.
Was he Metro Star?
He might have been Metro Stars, but he's a Dallas kid, I think. So
yeah, he's a Texas kid. He's a Texas guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seattle now. He's Seattle based now, but
he's a legend. I think he's the best American ever, but that's my opinion.
It's tough with Donovan, man. The biggest thing with Landon, just
it didn't translate to Europe.
Always, it did though. He just chose to stay in the U.S., which I think don't get me wrong. You can sit there and say that goes against him, but when you look at like from a national team perspective, that guy fucking delivered every time, on every occasion, at every level. Like he scored the biggest goal for the U.S. so far, other than what you might be able to argue Christian Pulisic now. Scored the goal that took them through the group in this last World Cup, right?
I don't know.
It's tough.
I see Dempsey on a
Dempsey's goal against Brazil. Federations Cup. Oh, so good, man.
Bro, this guy in the Prem, him and Moussa Dembele, I was like, nah, these guys are cooking.
Like he was honestly, you know what? My favorite Clint Dempsey moment.
He has the most goals for Fulham in a single season goal record for Fulham in the Prem. He has the highest.
Him at Fulham was different level with Bobby Zamora.
Yeah, bro.
They beat Juventus in the Europa League. Sorry, it was still the UEFA Cup. It was still the UEFA Cup
center back.
Yeah.
Dog, that team was crazy. That's when I knew Moussa Dembele was a dog. I was like, nah, this guy is hella nice.
Dembele was there, yeah. Oh my God. I actually remember, like, so funny. I remember back in the day, I can't remember what year that would have been. That was probably around 2008, 2009. But like when I did when I play FIFA and stuff like that, I actually play as Fulham. Because I didn't want to play as like one of the top. It was like one of those, can you bring like this team and go so I take Fulham.
Premier League great.
Yeah.
That's when you knew you were good at the game. That's so funny. But anyway, sorry, we went on a little bit of a tangent. The first thing on the agenda, what you want to talk about? We talk about Canadian Championship. We'll go East Coast to West Coast, starting with, I guess, Forge FC and Atletico Ottawa. Going to a 1-1 draw. Forge advances on penalties 3-2. Terrible penalty shootout from both teams.
Hey,
but
before we get to that, before we give Tristan some flowers, Kyle Becker's goal.
Oh, class.
That was ridiculous.
I had to watch it a couple times still. I was like,
for me, it was the second time. So the ball bounces off his chest, and then the touch on the half skip with the outside of his foot that just sets him up.
And the ball still.
That was the one. That was the touch right there that you were like, you know, when you see certain players, you're like, that's different level. Like that was different level. Like Kyle's he's done that throughout the last 5 years. Like he's done it over and over and over again. But that touch right there, at a sprint, on a diagonal with the ball skipping like he did off his chest, and to readjust that way, that was different. There's no one else in the league that I don't think that can do that. Like,
and I don't think there's many players that would even shoot the ball from that angle.
No,
but if you know Bex, you know he's roofing that. So like when he
did it, I was like, of course he did that. Like I was like, when he shot, I was like,
it wasn't like the goal per se that like surprised me. It was like, damn, I knew he had that in him, but I'm like, no one else would ever think of shooting that. You know what I mean? Like he'd even hesitate.
If they do, they're not going near up high. They're trying to bend it round to
around
go
the goalkeeper, far post. Like he'd even hesitate. Most guys would hesitate, and I'll tell you the truth, I would have hesitated. You know what I mean? Like,
well, when you're running
I'm also left-footed, so coming from the left wing on that's kind of different.
Yeah,
but most people would have hesitated.
Well, because he's running, like, even though he takes the inside, now he comes back a little bit. Like you're running towards the byline. You're not running at goal necessarily.
Yeah.
Like like he turns to run towards goal, but his momentum's still taking him away from it. Right. So that's kind of where, like, that's where that why Sean gets caught. You know what I mean? Because Sean starts playing the cross and then he tries to go up because it's gone over him, right? Like it's so clever. And that goal is just insane.
That was a class goal. Class pass from Alex and Chinodi Johnson. Like I said, like just those little things that like I think that's what kind of separates a couple players from the rest of the bunch. You know what I mean? It's like
big time.
Everybody can be on a 7 out of 10, but then like if you have that one player, two player, like whoever has most of those players in their teams usually wins.
Like, yeah, and it's like, are you a 7 out of 10 based on what? Like
I mean, in the game, those, like you're doing your job, like you're doing your job. You know what I mean? But then like say 0-0, but because you have so many game changers on your team, like anything can happen in a split moment. Whereas like Atletico Ottawa, like Ollie Bassett is their game changer.
Yeah.
On forwards, you have Borges that can show up, Charnier that always shows up, Bex that shows up. You know what I mean? And then like on Halifax, you had Joao Morelli that shows up. You know,
Mass Farron started really
Massimo
well.
Farron now.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like nobody has any as much game changers as Forges had. You know what I mean? So like even if all things equal, if the game is like nip and tuck, like who is it? Like which team has more of a chance to have like one of those moments?
Well, I think like from all of them,
Pacific. When Pacific beat us, they had Bustos, Manu, like they had game changers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wiro Diaz, like they had a ton of guys who could.
Taron Campbell's still there. Yeah, they had game changers. So I feel like when all things are equal, like who has a better chance of making magic happen on site? You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, I think that just kind of goes to show like where the league's at, and it's kind of funny because it's in this almost transitionary period where you look at the number of players who've left recently.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are more creative players.
Yeah.
If you look at Pacific, especially.
Thanks.
But like if you look at like Bustos leaving, Wiro Diaz leaving, like those were their two most important players going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at like some of Calvary's more creative, Julian Boucher left, Oliver Minitel left. Like some of their more creative players going forward left. Like they're kind of in that transitionary period where it seems like it's a little bit more of a defensive league, but it's like you're trying to fill spots at this point, and you're not too sure who's going to fill that and how they're going to fit into your own philosophy and stuff like that, right? Like Forge is really the only one, and Halifax would be interesting once Morelli gets, see if they can take the next step. But you look at the turnover at Ottawa, like, yeah, they've got Bassett, but last year, Baloo had a very good year.
That's what I mean.
Take him out of the team.
Brian Wright had a good year too.
Brian Wright had a good year.
He's gone. He's at York.
So, like, you look at that kind of thing where now they're trying to fill it. Sam Salter comes over from Halifax. You know, he still got to get his footing, man. He just got there. Like, it's going to take a little bit of time. And again, York have got how many new players again?
Yeah, like York got Mo. Yeah, they're chemistry. There's chemistry
like,
problems.
You just need to build that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. But like, so you can see at least at the start of the year where no one really wants to drop points too quick. Again, now getting into fifth is that much more important. So it tightens the league.
Yeah.
You know, Forge are the one team where they're still structured really well, where they have chemistry. And like that goal, take out the finish from Becker, say Becker crosses and it scores. I don't really think any other team scores that goal with that type of creativity at that time of the match. You know what I mean? I don't see that from every other team yet, because it's still May.
Yeah,
like it's the start of May.
Like 3 games in?
Exactly, with a couple can champ stuff. With a couple can so it'll be interesting to see how that kind of progresses through the rest of the year. And then they get undone almost at the death by a penalty.
Yeah, and then the penalty shootout is fucking trash. But big saves from Tristan Henry. Shout out Tristan Henry. He's actually really good at shot stopping, especially in PK shootouts. So I'll give him credit to that. Like he actually practiced. There
was one where I went, oh, if he saves that, they've got to call it back. He was like 3 feet off his line. It was the one that I think went through his hands or something like that. I was like, I wonder if the linesman would have put their flag up. to win
Yeah,
one
it's
down.
funny because he got caught with that against when we played against Montreal, I believe. He got caught with that. But he still made some big saves as well, and it just sucked that he was the last shooter out of 11. That like it was like, all right, bro, like their goalkeeper scored and then you miss. Is like, all right, it's like you're not. He wasn't the only person that missed, so it's like, you know what I mean. So, but they won their penalty shootout.
Finally,
is gone. Yeah, because they lost against Toronto FC last year in the penalty shootout for the Canadian Championship final. We lost to Montreal in the Canadian Championship penalties. And now I'm just happy that they got this over their shoulder. I mean, now they have a rematch with Montreal May 23rd, I believe. I think that's the day, May 23rd. And I think I'm going to try to go out to that game, to be honest. My team travels, so I probably would go.
Is
it on a Sunday? I think it's on 21st. Or is it on a Wednesday?
I don't know. Is it at Forge or is it at Montreal?
They also played
all at the bottom of the bracket.
They played Montreal last year too in the Canadian Championship, and they lost 3-0. Forge. They did, but that Montreal team was different.
Yeah,
that Montreal team was. The game. Oh, it is at Montreal. Never mind. It's on Wednesday, May 24th. So yeah, I'm not gonna be there. But
yeah.
But
I mean, hey, it's talking about Montreal. A lot of storylines in this one, and they're not just all on the pitch. But I guess we'll start there. They were the better team, man. They were the better team.
I watched the first half. It was 2-0 and 2-1 because they scored.
Yeah.
I literally when they
actually here's the funny thing though. The first goal though, I don't really think that should have stood.
Why is that?
Broguillard is encroached massively beyond 10 yards.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason one thing. I'm like, if there's like, I'm kind of wondering, like, if there's a VAR, did they review that and go, he's encroaching? I actually don't know. Don't know.
And this has been the story of Toronto FC. They get so many numbers forward, they create a chance, and on the counterattack, it seems like only 3 people are running back. Everybody else is just watching. And that's what happened on that counterattack. Kyoto ran from half in between everyone and flew. I was like, yo, what? I'm like, is everybody else just in slow motion? Like, what's going on? Like, he even zoomed past Broguillard, who was on the breakaway, started. I was like, nah, this can't be real. Shot it, obviously, rebound and all that stuff. Like, it's unfortunate, but like, first of all, Sean Johnson is my main homie. I really feel bad for him because I know he did not sign up for this. Because some of the defending is just like, damn, bro. Like, because obviously being a defender, I always say, like, you keep a 0 in your net, you always have an opportunity to win the game, bro. There's always going to be 1 or 2 chances in the game for you to score. And at least you come out with is a point. Like, at least get something from it. Like, it's crazy that a lot of teams are more worried about how do I break down a team? How do I score as many goals, this and that? But no one works on defending anymore. It's like, yo, defending has lost its art.
Buddy, I don't think I'm going to be honest with you though, Kwame. Like, I'm not going to lie. Whenever I watch most of MLS, from a neutral perspective, it looks like there's just 11 1v1 matchups. Like, that's what made Montreal so compelling last year, was that it was like, they're not playing, they're playing, there's an actual system here and they defend as a unit. That's what for me made Montreal so compelling last year, was that, you know, when you look at like Philadelphia Union, you're right. They don't look like they're trying to play 11 1v1 matchups. Like, there's very few of them. It just
St.
looks
Louis too. No offense. Like, St. Louis, they don't play the best football, but like, even when I was there, like, you knew that everyone was on the same page. Like,
when I watched you guys against the Whitecaps, one of the reasons why that was so enjoyable for me was that both teams had their system.
Yeah, and it was like system against system.
But it wasn't like at any point it switched to, hey, if we just win 6 of our 1v1 matchups here, we win the match. It never fucking felt like that. It felt like, no, like, hey, we might have to adapt here, but when we get the ball, here are our principles still, and we still need to do these things. Like, that's what made it so good to watch. And that was MLS Next.
Yeah, 100%. So like now that when I watched that Montreal game, shout out to Montreal, they turned the corner 100%. Seeing guys like Sean Rea that I played against, Matthew Chonier, who's given a big shout for him to be called into like the next national team camp. Obviously, Joel Waterman, who we had on one of our first episodes, balling as usual. Like, you know what I mean? But
so comfortable on the ball,
just to see TFC, it's like system always beats individualism. It's almost like, let's say 8 out of 10 times the system will win. Unless you have like a super duper player. Like there was times last year where Bernardeschi just put Toronto FC on his shoulders and said, yo, like we're winning. You know what I mean?
Which or you want him to do, but again, in order, like, and this kind of comes back where you talk about system over individuals. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna have Insigne, and this is, I think, where I kind of feel bad for Bernardeschi and Insigne to a certain extent. I don't feel that bad from them making a fucking lot of money.
Yeah.
But from a footballing perspective, to a certain extent, the part I feel bad is when Giovinco and Altidore were there, and Vasquez, you kind of let them do what they wanted going forward. They didn't really defend a ton, but everyone else behind them knew what their role was. Whereas now when you go up, and I think this is almost a trend, like, again, fuck, I've used this word a lot already, but a transitionary moment in generation. I'm sorry, you're going to sit here and tell me that Shaquille Marshall-Reddy and Cozy Thompson and these kids have that same dog in them to go, what role do I need to play today? I'm going to do this.
I just need to run, say no more.
I need to win, just win the ball and give it to this person. Okay, here we go. It's most young players though now where it's like there's a role you need to play sometimes. Are you going to play the role or are you going to try and be you? And there's a time and place for both. Like Jackson,
100%. You still want him to
slip ball to Richie is fucking fantastic. It's so good.
There's obviously there's a time, like you said, there's a time and place. You still want them to be themselves so they don't get lost within the system. But you should use the system to expose your strengths, to show your strengths. You shouldn't go out of the system just because like, oh, I feel uncomfortable, or I feel like, oh, I'm not getting the ball. I'm like, yo, today just might not be your day to get the ball. You know how many times Bobby told me, yo, you're playing inverted left back. You ain't getting no assists. You just in the build-up and you there to stop counters. I was like, damn, all right, that's fine. Like,
or even that, pick your ego aside. Put your ego aside. Are you playing like shit today? Okay. How the fuck do you now affect the game positively? How can you, what can you do now to affect the game positively for your team? If you're fucking tragic on the ball, then fucking win it back, look 5 yards beside you, give the ball off and go, keep me the fuck away from this thing, and just keep doing the defense. Like, just do that.
And you know what you think about? I think a lot of young players don't watch football.
No,
actually they don't.
They
actually don't sit down.
They're not students.
Sit down and watch games. Like, see how we grew up and we were watching every game, and we still are. We're watching Premier League, Champions League, Italian. Like, we're watching everything. Bro, kids come back from practice and they're just like, yo, video games. Go hang out with friends. Which is like, now it's like, hey, you're not making football your total life. But like, if you want to be where you say you want to be, and like obviously other things come into it, like where that obviously there's politics, there's injuries and all that stuff. But like, if you want to be where you say you want to be, like you have to be a student of the game. The best athletes in every sport have been students of the game. And I don't know if this new generation actually even watch football.
Well,
like, I think they don't know what to look like. Like how you said, look at the old Barcelona team when they had Messi, Neymar, Suarez. A man like Iniesta, World Cup winner, MVP, Euro MVP, and Champions League final. Bro, he was defending his socks off because he knew once he got the ball, I just go like this here, and those three are going to score 150 goals a season.
Well, who is the most underrated player on that team? He scored in the Champions League final. He scored in that.
I say Rakitic.
Yes, my guy. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That guy?
He played on Messi's side and went, I got to do all his running. But when I win the ball.
Danny Elvis too was like, yo, wow. Danny Elvis was doing that for years. Rakitic used to come off the field looking like a tomato. That's how much he ran, bro. But I'm like, dog, you get the rewards from it. You pass the ball to this one. You got to play with Messi for how many years? You got to play with Suarez and Neymar for how many? Bro, you won the Champions League? What? Come on, bro.
Xavi, Iniesta. Yeah. He's the one who replaced Xavi. He
That's what I'm
walks
saying.
into the team and takes Javi out as Javi gets older.
And he won a champ. It's not like he didn't do his bits, bro. He
Won
won champions,
everything.
scored
Won
clutch
everything.
goals. Like, bro, I think that's what it is. Like, you definitely says like transition, like where everybody's like, yo, it's like a Me Too movement. You see Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David, like, dog, those guys are generational talents. We might not see it now, but it's generational talent. Like, you're not gonna see another Canadian that's gonna be a road runner like Alfonso that can play left wing, left back, like that has a tactical and soccer acumen at that level at a young age like he did. Or Jonathan David, who came from
he was a sponge. He just absorbed everything.
Jonathan David, who came from the middle of nowhere to get, and this every year he just is like, he's just a natural. He just knows where to go and where to be. So it's like Tajon, who came from college, like, you know what I mean? There's different guys that you're like, yo, these guys are a generational talent. Like, they have the talent, but they also were able to understand, like, yo, what's in my job? You think Alphonso Davies don't want to be on Bayern trying to do his tricks and flicks and all that stuff? But he got Sadio Mane, Leroy Sané and them in front of him. He's like, yo, you know what? That's not my job. Because these guys have been doing at the highest level a lot longer than me. So why am I going to try to do that? Let me lock down on defense. No one's going to run past me today.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you into the World XI.
There you go. Right? Like that's a huge part of it. I think like the one thing I would say with the kids now, and it's so funny because it's not as though like there's less football. There's more football that's ever been played, but it's harder to watch. Everything like you need to pay for, like, if you want to watch Champions League, Europa, you have to pay for DAZN. If you want to watch Premier League,
I'm not hearing that,
like,
bro.
Fubo,
If you're
you got to do all
professional
that kind of
shit. You're making money, bro. You're making money. You can pay $5 a month.
No, I'm saying for kids. For kids to grow up and now be like students of the game and stuff, it's way harder for them all of a sudden.
Do you think so?
It's not like when we grew up, it was like you wake up 7 a.m. or for you, 10 a.m.
Yes, class.
Me, it was 7. You wake up, it's on Sportsnet. You've got Jerry Dobson, Craig Forrest, and Sportsnet are running it.
But you didn't get all the games.
You didn't get all of them. But then as you got older, oh, well, Sportsnet have these ones. TSN now with their extra channels have these ones. It was on TV. It's not on. It's not just accessible.
Yeah, no one has basic cable no more.
But even beyond that, it's like, okay, well, if you want it, like, how much money? The problem with basic cable was how much it cost, and now you're like, well, hold on, how much does it fucking cost to have all of these subscriptions?
Basic cable is probably like $150.
Well, if you get Netflix, Spotify, like if you do all these, you're at like 200.
But yo, you come on, you gotta be a hustler, bro. You and your friends can be like, yo, all right, we gonna do this. We gonna.
But now they're limit. Yeah, but they also Fubo only limits you to three people on at a time.
Yeah.
So it's like from a kid, like from someone who's like
I know what you're talking about, like guys, like when we were in elementary school, we used to just turn on the TV. But like in Canada, I wasn't like, we were able to watch Premier League match of the day. We probably had like 2 matches. And like an Italian Serie A match later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of football. But like now you can like bootleg streams, bro. There's ways to go around it, bro. Like
you can.
If you really want to watch a game,
that.
Yeah,
you can.
If you really want to watch a game, and I'm sorry, please don't ban us for, like, you know what I mean? But like if you really want to watch a game, there's ways you can get that shit done. So, but another thing is, it's definitely coaching as well. Canadian coaching. Back when you're in the youth club, if you were the best player, they'd be like, yeah, just get the ball and give the ball to him, blah, blah, blah. So you never really had a structure for you to succeed. You were kind of just always carrying your team. And that's why I'm happy that I got to play in like Sigma and like in Uruguay, where like everyone was good. So you couldn't just be like, yo, just give me the ball. You had to play within the system. I've always been for the most part, I've been in a system that has helped me flourish.
Yeah. Which helps for sure.
Yeah.
But even like I kind of looked at that too, where now that coaching is like a paid thing, you see people doing it to get a paycheck rather than when I grew up, everyone was a volunteer.
Yeah. Parents,
but even so like my dad was my coach for a long time ago. He's an ex-pro. So he has a good understanding of the game, and he went and he's doing his coaching badges, but he's taking things like, he's watching what Ajax are doing and building sessions around that. And all the, like, and all these things. Like he built this whole kind of plan out. And it's hilarious because other people have tried to rip off like what he did. He's like, I did that 15 years ago now.
And
Why are
and
people
that,
coming to it now? Like,
yeah.
surely it's evolved and all these things, like kind of
Mm,
things. But like you had people there who were genuinely invested in
mm.
trying to help kids develop, whereas now it's a paycheck. So there's like that
That's
kind of different side there, right?
mm. Yeah, so it's tough for TFC to go out in the quarterfinals. I mean, the draw wasn't really favored in their way, but like I feel like those MLS teams have always been favored in this tournament. You
They
know what I
have
mean?
they haven't had to come up against,
Yeah,
like, except for Montreal. Now Montreal had to play Vaughan, but none
yeah,
of them had faced that kind of pressure yet. They've
yeah.
Is it only Vancouver technically who've lost to a CPL team? They've lost twice.
Yeah, it
I think
is.
it's only them.
Yeah, it is
But
only that.
like it's nice that now it has expanded and there are more teams. Like that's
Mhm.
fucking awesome because we're
It
seeing
makes
it's reaping the rewards right now.
100%. Yeah. So, but shout out to TFC. I mean, I feel like Bob Bradley because remember like when I was telling you like your coach is an extension of the players. Like like when we're at Forge, like we develop Bobby's personality. You know what I mean? Like the grungy, like don't talk to us personality. Like Bob Bradley, because of his soccer IQ and like the players he's coached in his whole career, like TFC's like star players, you can see why they're doing well, but then you can also see why the youngins aren't doing well. Because probably what Bob Bradley is telling them is not translating to them properly. Like Richie, also Mark Anthony, Insigne, Bernadeschi, Sean John, like those guys are gonna understand the game at a high level to the level that like Bob Bradley and obviously Michael Bradley understand it. So like when Bob Bradley's coaching, yeah, he's coaching the whole team, but how do people digest? How quickly do the youngins digest it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Again
Because
though,
Bob
like
Bradley, I feel like he's only been successful when he's had teams of star players. Like the national teams, he had Donovan and the Mans in their prime. LAFC, Carlos Vela's friggin' Messi of MLS at that time. Like he had Kellen look like all those guys. Like he got Latif Blessing, Mark Anthony, he had Atuesta, like guys that understood the game at a high level.
I
So
think
like
that also comes down from a GM perspective where he goes, I want
yeah,
these type of players. Great, here you go. Like there's a connection with that side too. But again, like if the kids can't understand that level,
because we
fucking
were talking
you
this off
don't
screen. You were like,
belong
it's
in this league then. So fucking go drop down a league. Like if you
but,
can't understand it, that's an
but
IQ
then
issue. That's
but then there's a clash because the GM is like, yo, we need to play the kids because we need to sell them off. But Bob Bradley's like, yo, but if I play these kids and they're not doing what I want them to
I'm
do,
the one who gets hammered.
I'm the one that loses my job. So like, where does Bob Bradley be like, yo, you know what? I'm done playing these kids. I need to save my job before.
Well, I mean those conversations would probably happen more behind closed doors.
Yeah,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
You know
Like
what I
that
mean?
conversation with the GM would be like the GM might be like, "Look, you need to play him. We understand that the results aren't going to be here. You have job security." Like that might be a conversation that's been had, and so now he's trying to coach and teach them.
You know what I mean? So it was different in the TFC of the past because like everybody knew their role. Whereas now, like you're bringing in like Marky Delgado's gone. Michael Bradley has been injured, and he's about to get something in England. He's about to do a surgery on his hamstring. So that's discipline and a big leadership spot to fill. Mid-season trades, you lose obviously Lucas McNaughton. You get CJ Sapong, who is an MLS veteran and has done well in this league. So shout out to him. But like even then, it's like you have to be like the younger guys. Aya Canola, his injury kind of slowed him down. Like he was doing bits obviously before, but like you have to find a way to pull these guys along to be able to understand what they're supposed to be doing on the field. Like there has to, because like you said it behind the scenes, you're like Insigne looks up and like some of the guys are not in the positions that he would expect them to be. So you kind of see like when you watch them play, you kind of see Richie, Bernadeschi, Insigne, Oso, and Mark Anthony just playing soccer by themselves, and everybody kind of just watching. Like that's how it literally looks.
Yeah, and again, I think this is a flaw in our development system, though, man. Like,
but none of the players are Canadian. Oh, I mean the youngins. You mean the youngins?
I'm talking about the youngins. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you need to develop athletes, and when is the next, like, the best footballer from footballing terms, best footballer on the Canadian national team right now is Stephanie Stacchio. Grew up in Portugal. He didn't grow up here. Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't developed through our system. Why is it that we can look at him in the national team? We can look at someone like Oso, who's more of a footballer, who's more technical, and look at those guys and go, look how important they are to our center midfield. And all three of our main national team pools go, we do not want to create a single fucking player like that. Not fucking one. You see that Alphonso Davies kid that fell in our lap? We're going to try and create 11 of him on the football pitch. That is a fucking major problem. That is a major problem. I don't care what anyone says. You need a variety. You need a variety in those.
Do you think it comes down to how football has developed in more physical than technical now? Like, I'm not saying the players are not technical, but the physical aspect of football, like, I think everything has become more efficiency. How fast can I get to the goal as quickly as possible?
100%. It's a problem with efficiency, but the problem that we have right in our country is the people who identify talent can't identify the efficiency of someone's brain. Bobby talked about it last week. Like, they don't know how to identify talent. They can select it. Fucking a monkey could have selected Alphonso Davies. A pylon could have selected him, being like, yeah, I might want to watch that kid. That kid might have a future. You know what I mean? Like, other guys, though, get lost in the weeds, and you'd hope that with CPL now that they wouldn't. But the problem now is these kids aren't getting into youth national teams. They're not even being developed by TFC or Montreal or Vancouver. So now they're nowhere. You know what I mean? Like I think one of the more telling things and why this current crop of Canadians was so successful was that a lot of them weren't in the U20s. A lot of these guys weren't U20 national team players, which is way more like what happens in Europe, where the kids who are at the U16, U17, U18, U19, it is so rare that those kids go onto the full national team. It is really rare. Because again, a kid at 18, 19, 16, 17 is different than a man at 23, because they develop human beings develop differently. So we just saw this happen with our own group. Tajon's not on the fucking radar at all.
Yeah, Richie either. Kyle either. Kyle, like
Tajon, like, yeah, Kyle got called in because he started banging goals in, and he's about to get called into the first team before the U20, so they had to scramble and do that.
They had to scramble and call him in.
Tajon, they didn't even know about till the 23s for the Olympic qualifying. Like, he'd already been drafted here. He's already playing in MLS. They didn't even fucking know. And so it's this whole, like, there's a, like, you have to be able to identify, and at a younger age, it is so much more key to go, is that kid making really good decisions? Sure, maybe, you know what? Maybe he can't keep up physically right now. But you don't drop a kid who's not fully developed because he can't keep up physically. But he thinks quicker than everyone else. He's got better technique. He's like, you know what I like? That wouldn't have happened to Iniesta, Paul Scholes had asthma, man. He had asthma. Fucking guy couldn't keep up.
Nah, bro, you're spitting. We could go on and on about this, but damn, bro, like TFC
we might as well get to the off the field stuff, eh? Conversation.
Yeah, there's other news. TFC Montreal altercation that happened in the ultra section, air quotations. You say it looks like it was staged. I looked at it and I just stopped watching it because it's just like, I don't like negativity on my timeline. So like, I kind of
same here. Yeah. It's just like, first of all, the person filming super close to these two, and then these other two run up, like, you'd probably see them running at you, and then it's not like they beat the hell out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they threw a couple punches and then left them and then they ran off. Like it looks like if again, maybe this is watching all those old school fucking what ultras were, where
Yeah.
those two guys would have got shivved.
Yeah.
Like it looked strange. Like the
Yeah.
way, like how it was filmed and everything. Like, and again, maybe it was set up that like, and maybe by it being staged was like these guys are like, oh yeah, we're gonna go beat them up, go film it. You know what I mean? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's why it looks that way. But it didn't look proper.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. I don't know. It looks really it looks weird. It doesn't look like it
Yeah.
was this natural thing,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Montreal came out with a comment saying that they will bring this to Major League Soccer and the Canadian Soccer Federation.
Oh,
Obviously,
they've already started
yeah,
investigations, man.
yeah, and they said they also will stop the Toronto FC fans from coming to Stade Saputo.
Yep.
So that's another thing. Another altercation that happened that I forgot literally as soon as you started talking about this. TFC fans and Mark Anthony K. I have no idea what was said. I haven't asked any questions, but it seems like fans are getting frustrated, obviously, with the performances or the results of Toronto FC. Because I wouldn't say they're playing bad. You know what I mean? Like when you watch them, it's like
it's not
but
what
like
you're expecting from them, but
yeah,
it's not like they're just getting bopped off the park.
yeah, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like a couple mistakes here and there, and like teams are just taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the frustration continues to build, and it's kind of tough with North American fans and European fans are definitely different. North American fans give you more of a leeway than European fans, but when it gets to that point where fans are starting, like I think one fans have to understand, like yo, you think the players are not out there trying to lose on purpose, first and foremost. Like, it's not like these guys are not trying. You know what I mean? So at least we gotta acknowledge the efforts. And I understand. But Mark Anthony also has to understand these guys have been spending their hard-earned money to come support you every week or every home game or away game. And that's just how the sport goes. Like, there's gonna be some things that are said to you, unless it was something that was hella disrespectful out of pocket, then all right. Like, you know what I mean? You beef. But if they're telling you like, yo, pick your shit up, it's like, damn, I know I need to pick my shit up, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hot subject like to touch on, but it's like at the same time, yeah, you have to accept both sides. It's like I have to accept the fans cursing me out because the results aren't going the same way, but I don't have to accept disrespect. If there was anything disrespectful, like I said, then 100%.
For sure. The
Yeah.
only thing that the one thing that I want to say on this topic is I understand that buying a ticket, there's an understanding there that a fan can say something to a player and basically without repercussion, essentially.
Happens in the NBA so much.
It happens all over. It's kind of a huge thing right now in North American sports, and it's actually a huge thing in sports in general. That because you buy tickets, that give you.
I feel like it's just tougher in soccer because the fans are so further away.
But the biggest thing that I would say to anyone going to a game, and anyone who's seen that video too, right? Like anyone who's seen the video, the one thing that I would suggest is just remembering that you're yelling that at a human being. Like, I'm sorry. I have no idea what was said. I also have absolutely zero idea what Mark's going through in his life right now. Maybe something was said that just set him off because he's dealing with something personally, because he's a human fucking being at the end of the day. And so that's where in the incident, I see that and I'm like, you haven't seen that from him ever in his career before. So I lean more on the side that something happened and something
must have been said.
Well, not only that, maybe it wasn't even that bad, but something in his life's going on, and that set him off based on this other. Like, you don't know. At the same time, though, that fan might be going through something, and this has set him off. Like as a fan, you can't sit there and go, "Well, I spend my hard-earned money.
Yeah, maybe
Get out of our fucking club. First of all, it's not your fucking club, because if MLSE didn't pump this amount of money in, bullshit, you'd be there every fucking home game. So fuck off with that nonsense.
Yeah.
First of all, like, if they didn't spend the money to bring Richie back, Bernadeschi, Insigne, and all that, you guys would not watch. Don't give me that bullshit.
Yeah.
You
also, I 100% agree with you. Like, I 100% agree with you that the fan, like you said, the fan must be going through something himself. Like, what if he had a hard day? He's like, yo, let me go enjoy like a nice soccer game, nice weather, like rivalry game. Like, this will make my night. And then he goes and he sees that. And that's why I got mad with my team yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, we were down a man, but the fans were still, like, we were down. We were losing 5-0 at half. The fans were still there. So, like, yo, you have to have a sense of pride where it's like, yo, at least let me work. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, you guys won the second half?
Make it worthwhile. Like, they could have, bro, it's 5-0 at half.
You guys won the second half, though.
We won the second half.
You didn't say that before.
I was too mad at the final scoreline. That's why. Yeah, we won the second half. So it's like, you know what? Like, we won it at halftime. It's like, bro, we were with our dicks in our hands, basically. Like, yeah, you have a man down, but the least you can do is sprint. Like, it's still the first half. You should have energy. And then we pulled up the second half, whole change of mentality, and then boom. Like, we still lose 100%, but like, you got to give these guys something to cheer for, because they do spend their time as well. Like, yeah, because you spend a ticket doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. But if both sides acknowledge both flaws, then I think it'll be, and it's hard because a regular fan is not going to know the mind of an athlete, or like how athletes process things and stuff like that.
But it's not even that. I think it goes beyond what an athlete's processing, right? It's just, I think you have to look at it from another human being. Funny because this was actually like a huge, and spoiler alert for anyone listening here, but this was like a huge storyline on an episode in Ted Lasso this week.
Yeah.
Like, this was like a main storyline in it, where again, it was the whole, and it's likened to a couple different situations, but you have no idea what another human being is going through in their life. And something that you think is innocuous that you say might set them off. And the whole, like, again, the thing behind it isn't to sit there and completely obliterate this other person for their reaction. But like, if you were in their situation, how would you want everyone else to react to what you've done? You'd probably want forgiveness and some understanding and some compassion. And that's where I kind of sit on this fence, where like, that's where I sit, at least on this topic, where I'm like, I wasn't there. I don't know what was said, any of this stuff, but he's never done that before.
Yeah, bro. I'm on Mark's side, bro. I'm on Mark's side. Like, I understand where the fans coming from, but like, at the same time, it's like, yo, you don't just say, and I say that with NBA players too, but like, now, because the NBA, people are so close, and like, when you're playing, like, people are cheering, but like, before a basket goes in, everyone is quiet. It's like, it's relatively quiet. You know what I mean?
Well, they've always been like, I mean, if you watch The Last Dance, listen to some of the stuff that those fans were yelling out and the obscenity.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like, now in NBA, you can actually point them out. Like, LeBron has got people kicked out, Steph and Russell, like, you know what I mean? Like, in soccer, it's so hard because they're cheering 24/7. Whereas like other American sports, it's quiet for most of the part. And then when you score, you get a basket or whatever, then it's loud. You know what I mean? So like, you can't really hear, like, you might hear some bullshit, but at the same time, you're running 30 kilometers per hour. It's like, you're not really, you're like, I have no time to point you out. Whereas basketball, you're walking with the ball, you're standing, like, there's a lot of free like stoppage time. So it's like, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But on to the next Canadian Championship game. We're also going to keep going around TFC. Vancouver Whitecaps defeat York United 4-1. A short-handed York United team. Unfortunate own goal from Elijah Adekubi, as you said before.
Yeah. They held in there for a long time, man. They held in. Nico made a couple of big saves when he had to. They didn't really threaten too much. Yeah. But that's what happens when you're, like you said, like they're missing some key players, which is tough. But massive, I mean, huge shout out to Levante Johnson.
Yeah, that's a good goal.
Scoring on his debut.
That's a goal.
first team minutes and stuff. And Austin Ritchie obviously scores against an MLS team too. So that's huge. Like that's another great storyline from that one. But Jesus, what a soft penalty that was.
I wonder if Steve Nash was watching. Because his brother,
but Martin coached and he's a part of the Whitecaps, right?
Coaching against my own team. It's like, damn, son. It's like, yo, my team whooped your ass.
He's texting Marty, fucking hammering him.
Yeah, he's like, yo, my team just whooped your team's ass.
Clear penalty.
Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, bro. So the penalty was a egregious call. I mean, I always had a thing with. I mean, I know it's not a CPL, but I always had a thing with Canadian refs. But I don't know what it is. But like sometimes I think referees just try to make the games about themselves, bro. Like it's not about you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's tough. I think
they're on a power trip. It's a power trip.
I think it's tougher now. I've felt that way too about refs that I've had here as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I really have. But I think it's also like when you look at standard of education in this country, again, I think that's another huge topic. Who are they getting taught by? Because sometimes I'm sitting there going, wait, hold on, who's teaching them? He's teaching referees now. Are you fucking serious? Like, you know what I mean? So there's that side of it for sure. There's no VAR as well. Like that's another question now to look back. Like I look at, so this is not Can Champ, but I look at the Calgary Vancouver game where Rocco Romeo gets sent off. And I look at it from the perspective, and I actually know that referee really well. I know Alan really well. So I looked at it from his perspective. I was like, how the fuck did he send him off for that? But when you watch it, Romeo heads the ball out. It's an awkward collision, and his elbow comes flying up. When you watch it full speed, and
what time of the match was that at?
It was early. It was early in the match. But to see a player literally get leveled to go drop this way, and a guy's elbow be up when you're watching him full, like you're literally watching the ball and you're watching, okay, here's the collision, and like when you're watching that full speed with no ability to go there, and you're seeing the guy on the ground holding his neck because he fell that way, because it looks like he's absolutely got cold clocked.
So do you think he deserved a red card or no?
Oh, it's not a red card. It's a throw-in. It's a throw-in.
Yeah.
But when you watch it at full speed,
it looks terrible.
And that's what I mean is like, that's a horrible situation to be put in.
My thing is like, I think this is a thing where like some people like that are defending, like some defenders, you can win the ball without going in like an animal. You know what I mean? Like he didn't
that one I think is just awkward though, man. Like that's one, he's coming diagonal and the striker's coming straight. You know what I mean?
But so he's coming from a position where he can see the ball because the striker's not looking at looking at him. No. He can see the player and the ball.
Yeah.
So if you know you have a better chance to win it, because the striker literally has to look the ball over, is going over his head. So he has to look like this and then turn last minute to try to bring it down. You are going the other way to attack the ball. If you can see that the striker's not even looking, you don't have to rock the man, bro. Like you can win it without rocking the dude.
Yeah.
I think this will
I agree. I agree with that.
Some of the best defenders in the world win the ball without rocking people, bro. Maldini used to slide tackle, smooth slide tackle, keep that shit in bounds. Puyol, interception, suicide. He would like how he played was animalistic, but like how he won the ball, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like Maldini, fucking Nesta, all finesse. But you would say those guys are the best defenders of their generation. I'm like, yo, you don't have to be Sergio Ramos all the damn time or Pepe all the time. You don't have to
be Materazzi, Nemanja Vidic.
Yeah,
you don't need to be them.
You don't need to crunch man's all that. Like that, a play like that, he honestly could have won it without even like having to even shoulder to shoulder him. Because the guy's not taller than you. Rocco's like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that
it's
one.
It's not a red card.
It's a throw-in. It's a throw-in. Like it's not even really a foul. But
that's all I'm saying.
It's the altercation there. So it's like I can see it from those perspectives. But at a game that's 3-1, where there's no tackle.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, this kind of leads right into the Pacific TSS game. But I don't think they watch and know who the players are either. Like, also, Beecher went down when he wasn't touched right before that. Literally right before at 0-0. He dropped holding his
My guy
stomach.
Simon.
Like, he just did it. How are you not
But
going, okay, because at the same time, it's like, I completely understand the players are trying to win something for their team. They are. But they're fucking over the refs doing it. Like, they are.
you know what's different though? Players get told who's reffing the game, how often he gives yellows, like how often he calls penalties. But
Yeah.
I don't think referees do their, and that's why I
Homework.
respect like the NBA. Referees know when they're gonna go ref Golden State Warriors like yo Draymond, this like you know what I mean, like LeBron, like you know what I mean. You know the players are like, hey, this guy likes to do this, so like I might have a harder whistle for him than this guy. You know what I mean? Some guys are gonna get called, some guys because they know the players. Refs just pull up and just just ref it. Like they just say, all right, we just gonna ref. Like you said, like it goes to the TSS game that you can explain because that's a West Coast thing, and you watch a lot of these guys a lot more than me because your brother's on TSS as well.
Yeah, no, they defended, like they grinded it out. They defended really well. They had a couple chances. They scored. They scored in the game. Mateo scored. Got called back for apparently being out of bounds, and it was a tight call. But again, okay, big deal. They defend really well, and little bit of a defensive mistake. Josh gets free. He cuts in, and it was like one of those ones where it was Gabe Escobar, so the ex-Halifax Wanderers fullback, kind of went in, and he's on the wrong side of him, and he almost, you know how you kind of go into almost spoil, but you don't put anything into it, like you almost like pretend to go tackle, but you just kind of dart your head or something. That's what he's done. He hasn't taken a step, and Josh just leaves a leg in, creates contact, and does the both legs bow out, salmon flop on his face, and it's called a penalty. And you're sitting there going, you've just ruined this game with the amateur team. Like, and again, I get what Josh is doing. Josh is going, I'm 1v3 here. I don't really see an option. I've got contact. I'm going down. But he's done. I've watched him this year. He did it. Funny enough, he did it against, who was their second game of the year against? I can't remember now.
Was it
Cavalry? It was Cavalry. He did.
Yeah.
He dropped the defender's like, what are you doing? And actually the guy shoots the ball off him on the ground and it goes in. Like, that's how they scored against Cavalry. And you're like, as a referee, how are you not watching this now going, like, he
dives?
And that was the whole thing with Ashley Young in the Prem when he's at Man United. All of a sudden now when he's at Villa, it's not really noticed that much. He goes to Man United and now it's going, he just pushes it and he kicks his leg sideways to create contact to go down. So referees now see it and they're like, oh, get up. Like, so it's like this whole, and again, and Josh said on the broadcast afterwards, yeah, like you know, when you get contact, you have to go down because you want to get the call. And you're like, yeah, I completely see where you're coming from. I do. I understand. But if I'm a referee, I'm going, fuck you. You're taking the piss. You're not making me look like an idiot. I'm not fucking falling for this shit now. You know what I mean? Like, it's that's kind of like the balance there.
That's why people liked Howard Webb, bro. That dude, bro.
Well, everyone who wasn't a Man United fan, and people, and we refed against them when it was a Man United game.
Yeah, bro.
Like him
it's definitely tough. Referees are different. It's a difficult conversation because their job is hard as shit.
I could never do it. I'd never do it.
I can never. You can take that verbal, emotional, mental abuse all game. Like, yo, being a referee, 100%. You have to be fit. You have to be almost as fit as the players on the field. That's nuts.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's and you're making, and especially in a brand new league like this, you're making split-second decisions. And we just talked about how it's more of a defensive league, so there are less goals. So your influence on the game might be seen as more than what it actually is. More significant.
Yeah.
But like, you know, so it's always that hard thing. But like, that's the one thing that if I'm looking at it from a refereeing standpoint, because it has been a conversation. Because again, there was that Whitecaps penalty. It was this one for Pacific won against TSS. And then there was the one that York won against Vancouver in the first round, where all three decisions went against the less favored team. And you're like, that. If it's 50-50, you should probably side on the side of
that's less controversial.
Well, like if that happens in an FA Cup and it's at Old Trafford and it's Man United versus Wrexham and it's like, I don't think so. Like that's
yeah. I'm
they're
not. I'm
not
probably
going to
not giving.
give.
I'm probably not giving Manu a penalty for already winning.
Well, but even say it's 0-0, Wrexham have defended their asses off, and now it's like, it's not clear cut.
It's not clear cut. Then yeah,
Like that you don't if you don't see like, and that's the thing, right? Like it's just one of those things that, and again, maybe based on their angle, they see something different, right? Like again, they're on the field, they're seeing it from a certain angle, but it's just one of those ones where a lot of really, really debate, like highly,
You just
highly
just gave me a great idea. We should bring a referee onto this.
It'd be awesome.
Get there, yeah. That would be awesome.
I can actually call someone who did actually the guy who sent off Rocco.
Yeah, someone that actually refs like a CPL or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just to get into their minds, like, yo, what do you like? Do you guys do more like questions like that? Because sometimes I go into games, I'm like, bro, this referee, bro, like, you know what I mean? You kind of just go to the games, you're like, yo, this ref is either whistle happy, card happy, or doesn't call anything at all. But I was gonna ask you, what is one thing that you took from each game in the Canadian Championship? I could go first if you want.
From each of those four.
Yeah.
Like
it could be standout players.
Each
like,
of those four.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is I think there is less of a gap than people think between League One and CPL than there is between CPL and MLS. There's a bigger gap between CPL and MLS than there is between CPL and League One, for sure. That's one big one. Just again, TSS kind of proved it. Again, like you have a group of, and again, like I think there's still this whole thing like, oh, some of these guys deserve more chances. Like for sure, I don't know how many of those guys are willing to go to Winnipeg now. You know what I mean? like you just don't know with that side of it. Some of them have jobs. Some of them
that are paying well, probably more.
Are they willing? So there, there's always that side of it, but no, I think like that's one thing that I definitely took from it, especially from that side of it. I think Forge are probably, for me, they've got the best chance of winning. If it's not an MLS team, they've got the best chance of actually winning the tournament. The biggest thing I took from the Vancouver game is that it seems like the way they're operating and that they're running their in conjunction with MLS Next is paying dividends now. That is one positive that I can look at them and see. I still don't think Vanny's the guy to take them forward personally. I don't.
Great guy though.
Honestly, super personable. Like seems like a really good guy. Really I just don't know that. And it could be just the players that he has, right? Like that could all be something.
I can tell you one thing. They have changed the coach. So their assistant coach, Ricardo.
Yep, he's with MLS Next now instead of Dasso.
He's MLS Next Pro head coach now. So like
instead of Dasso,
it's a direct like, you know what I mean, link to the first team. So like he trusts Rico to. But
you can see like
the guys
with Ali Ahmed going up, Simon Betcher going up, Levante now getting his chance.
Yeah,
like you're starting to see that kind of. You're starting to see them where they're developing down there and they're actually able to step in. They're stepping into the first team and having some success, which is awesome. So that's great. And then with the Montreal TFC one, it looks like Montreal are starting to steady the ship. They're starting to rattle off some results in MLS, and it seems like they're starting to kind of steady
the ship. Yeah. For
that's
me,
what I would say.
Yeah, for me, the TFC Montreal, TFC definitely. I think they need to do some mental training, because definitely not the footballing aspect. You know what I mean? I think they really need to get like, do some team bonding or some team chemistry, something that's going on. You know what I mean? I feel like there's so many high level players, but outside of football, like everybody's doing their own thing, which is fine. You don't have to be friends outside of soccer. Don't get me wrong, but like,
do you think it's too many local guys?
I don't think there's too many local guys. Like, I think that like there is a loss in translation between everyone. You know what I mean? Like, usually you'd be like, yo, I call up my team and be like, yo, let's go out for dinner. I don't think guys on the team be doing that unless it's like guys that you like Richie and Mark Anthony knew each other from time, or Richie, Sean, John, like those guys, and also. But other than that, I feel like everyone's just doing their own thing, and the only time they kick it is when they're at training, and then they go back to their separate lives. Which, granted, a lot of teams do that and they're still successful. But for the teams that I've been on, like, yeah, you've been able to have your own personal life, but like you still had a life, you still had a relationship outside of football with your teammates. That's what I think. They might need some team bonding, paintball, or some shit. Throw some ideas out there. Montreal, like you said, they're steadying the ship. The coach seems to have gotten things right. Players are stepping up. I think they just needed more minutes, consistency for the guys like Sean Rea, Matthew Chenier, the new guys that came in from Montreal, Lassiter and Bryce Duke. Jonathan Ciro is doing well in that as well, which is a good thing. Another CPL graduate. York and Vancouver doing what they should be doing against York United, who was shorthanded. Vancouver looking obviously better, bringing up the young guys. I obviously, like, I trained there, so I know a lot of those guys that are there, and guys that got called up from the MLS Next side that I played against last year as well. So, I mean, it seems like everything's like consistently throughout the team. But as crazy as it sounds, the players that are on the team at Vancouver are better than what the system shows. I think, like you said, it might be a vanity thing, but like Ryan Gold just was in Portugal, and he was like the Portuguese XI team. You know what I mean?
He's
like,
so good.
He's
Kubas
absolutely
as a six
filthy.
is
Yeah, he's
unreal
absolutely
too.
filthy. Like, you know what I mean? Like Tristan Blackman, who came from LAFC with Bob Bradley. Like, he can play all across the back line, playing center back, like both feet and everything. Like Vasilinovic, sorry, his name is hard, but he's great with his feet as well. Like, you know what I mean? But it might just be a system thing, because Vancouver Brian White, great finisher. Like, he's proven in MLS to be a good finisher and get in spots to score goals. So Vancouver did what they were supposed to do. And I'm happy that the youngins did it. So now hopefully they get more opportunities. And then Forge, obviously I'm gonna cheer for Forge, bias, of course. But I rock with Atletico Ottawa. I rock with everything that like they portray themselves. Like I like a lot of guys on their team. Like, obviously Maxime Tissot, Ollie Bassett, Nate Ingham. Like, I rock with a lot of guys on their team. They play good football. Their brand of football is nice to watch. So to see an actual football match, Forge and Atletico, in a league that you said is a lot more defensive, it's nice to see. Obviously the goals. Forge getting the penalty shootout monkey off their back. Then the TSS Rovers, I didn't watch it because it was really late my time. And shit was like 11 o'clock or something like that. And I was like, nah, I'm in bed. I'm an old man now. I'm in bed by like 10. So I'm telling you, bro, I'm in bed by like 10. But it's just, I guess, it's not, I don't know. How does your brother, I was going to ask you, how does your brother feel? I'm happy to see TSS go to Starlight Stadium and actually.
Yeah, they were, like I said, they're happy with the performance, but like the one thing that they all complained about was some refereeing stuff, right? Where it seemed like every 50-50 decision went against them. Like, they wouldn't get the call, but Pacific would, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But again, like, that might just be a bit
of politics.
Oh, they get every call. We're like, yeah, but you kicked them before you got the ball. You know what I mean?
There's
like,
those
like
ones.
that.
I understand.
There's definitely those ones. But no, he said it was it was an awesome ride to go on. Like, it was really cool.
Dope.
And again, like, the other thing that's really awesome is that this round created storylines, man. Another round with storylines. Like, it wasn't dull. Probably, like, arguably the tie that was the most dull from a footballing perspective might have been the Montreal TFC one, because there wasn't a lot in it. It was just times. It was just at times it exploded. You know what I mean? And maybe, the Forge Atletico game wasn't like, again, if you have more, but yeah, I know it was it was good, man. Like, again, expanding it has worked. Expanding it's worked. So
let's see. Let's see how they continue to improve the Canadian Championship. And with that said, you can introduce your West Coast peeps, TSS Rovers, the players that have just been cup set, I guess, in the Canadian.
Well, it's not really an upset when you're like a heavy underdog. When I can't even go on my phone and fucking gamble on it. Like,
yo, that would have been like $1 million won if they won, bro.
So I don't think it's a cup set. I don't think it's a cup set, but yeah. So kind of day after the game here, we're gonna interview my brother Kyle Jones, Matteo Polisi, Eric Edwardson, and then Fugo. Oh, I don't remember his last name. That sucks. But yeah, so I'm gonna interview the four of them right after this later tonight.
You said, damn, I don't remember his last name. Anyways, yeah,
100%. I'm like, what am I gonna do? It's so funny. I wasn't even gonna go last name, and then I said my brother. I was like, oh shit, I said his last name.
Yo, man, that's funny. But hey, don't worry, people forget my name too. People still don't know how to pronounce my last name, which is wild.
It's Kevin, isn't it?
My last name, you motherfucker. Bro, but yeah, in all honesty, yo, this is gonna be an amazing interview. I'm actually proud of those guys for beating Valor, like whooping Valor, not even beating Valor, whooping Valor, and creating a culture for the obviously League One BC. And like now expectations like, yo, CPL can't just throw a team out there no more. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got to go hard because nobody's playing games. Like these are grown men that are on the field. So you got to throw some respect on them. And with that being said, hope you guys enjoy the interview. And shout out TSS Rovers. Shout out to West Coast, man. Y'all doing it big out there. A League One Ontario team can't make it to the next round, apparently.
Trying to get something going, buddy. Trying to get something going.
That's it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to our interview today. Today, we've got four of the TSS Rovers players who can play in the Canadian Championship. We've got Kyle Jones, Fugo Sagawa, Eric Everson, and Matteo Polisi. Fellas, welcome on board. How are we doing? Obviously, a tough result last night.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, kind of bittersweet last night. It's a tough result to take, but I think like all of us, consensus in the locker room was that we were super proud of the effort that we put in, and just tough because I think all of us felt that we could have got more out of the game. We had chances, and yeah, we were so close.
All right, that's good for the politically correct take. Anyone else got one? No, I'm just kidding, guys. All right, so yeah, go on, Kyle.
No, I was gonna say it was pretty awesome to be a part of. I think just grateful for the opportunity. It was just kind of luck that happened that we were able to even get into the tournament in the first place. But super stoked about it.
Yeah, and let's go back to that moment, right? Obviously, you guys find out. Obviously Kyle's my brother. We've spoken about him on our podcast before, so I knew when he found out. Like, when did you guys, like Fugo, Matteo, Eric, like when did you guys find out about it? And then how have you guys kind of take us through that process? Like, you find out, and then what's kind of your preparation for it?
I guess I'll go. I think I don't even remember for sure when I found out. I think it was sort of like in October and November when they were kind of calling some of the older guys back to the team originally. And then, yeah, like it was just kind of like pretty surreal because obviously like a lot of us or all of us have sort of grown up watching that tournament and seeing like all the pros play. And I certainly didn't think that I'd ever be able to actually like take part in it. And then when you're able to play in that with all like your best friends, it's just like an amazing opportunity. So I was just like, I was buzzing. And then I guess because of the kind of level of the tournament, because it's professional, you have to train a certain amount of time before, like early. So that gave us like a month preparation before the game. And yeah, the boys were just grinding hard. And yeah, I missed like the first like 3 weeks, I think, of training. But yeah, just I think we all prepared
You had a
ourselves
day
well and
job.
did the
You
best.
had a day job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Man.
yeah,
One of those
we
9 to
were
5s.
grinding. We were grinding.
Yeah.
So Mateo, obviously you're coming back from Pacific. Like when were you like, hey, I'm jumping on this? You know, like how quickly did you kind of make your mind up? Was it an obvious, easy choice to go, yeah, I'm going there?
Yeah, when I couldn't get a contract, and it was like, I think it was like beginning March, to be honest, and I was kind of stuck, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And obviously I played with TSS in the past, so I just called Will and was like, save me a spot kind of thing. And I'm in for the season, and I want to play. Yeah, it wasn't just the game, obviously, that made me join TSS again. Obviously, for the league and everything like that, get games in and come back and start enjoying my football, and playing, getting minutes too was a big thing. So yeah, just coming back, and I've loved every second of it so far. Like the guys on the team, Will is obviously unbelievable, and just it's a good team. It's a really good group too. Everyone's enjoying themselves too. So it's been fun so far.
Awesome. And then Fugo, whenabouts did you find out, and kind of like what helped make your mind up?
Yeah, as Eric said, I can't remember when Will told me, but I remember he texted me in October or November that we got a new we've got a big news coming up, and we might actually play in Canadian Championship. But yeah, last year I didn't play one game because I broke my collarbone literally 1 week before the season start. So yeah, for me it was a disappointing season, but honestly I enjoy and the environment, and honestly the teams and all the staff, coaches, they're amazing. And yeah, I had just one choice, but to keep playing for TSS. And yeah, I was buzzing hearing the news. I think I didn't play. I can't remember when was the last time I played like official game, but it was like 2 years ago. So yeah, I was definitely buzzing.
No, it's awesome. And then Kyle, we'll end with you. Like what was it primarily was the main draw coming back going, hey, we have this can champ run and get to play with all the guys that we achieved things with last year?
Yeah, that was definitely a huge part of it for me personally. But I mean, at the same time, I was also planning on playing in the summer anyways, and I figured like, where else? And obviously with the Canadian Championship, again, like another huge draw, another just nail in there that were that just kind of cemented my return back here.
Yeah, for sure. And then, all right, let's just jump right forward. We'll skip preseason. Obviously, you guys haven't played. I don't think you guys played a game in your season yet, and you have to face Valor, correct?
Yeah, that was correct. We didn't have any league games before.
So just no real, like, you guys got to play exhibition games. Like, it's hard to kind of, I mean, we've all been through those processes through preseason where it's just like, oh my God, like you want to get into it, but you don't want to get hurt. You've got this big game coming up. What was this? Let's look at like week of, right? The week of, what's our mentality going into that week? Or does it start off a little more nervous, or do you start off like just on a 10 and you got to try and maintain it?
I think naturally, like even if people on the team don't say anything, I think everybody has like a little bit of nerves going into it. Because like when you are a semi-professional team playing a professional team, there's always that chance that you don't turn up as a group, and it could be like an ugly result. But I think honestly, like the players at our level as well, and the quality of guys that we have, I think everyone was just like super excited to play and have the opportunity to go showcase ourselves. Because I think the majority, if not everybody in our group, believes that they should be playing at that next level. So it's just an opportunity for us to kind of showcase that on the bigger stage. And yeah, I think we definitely took that opportunity.
And Mateo, how are you feeling that week? Obviously, someone who's played in this competition for the
Yeah.
previous 2 years already, right?
I was nervous how the group was gonna do. I wasn't the we played UW and we lost 5-0. And that wasn't the best result for us. We didn't, honestly, it wasn't a good game. We didn't play well. UW is like they're a really good team to be fair.
They're
but
number one. They're the number one
Yeah.
team in the NCAA last year. So
yeah, but it wasn't a good result, obviously. But we had a game against, I think, what was it? The team from the
Wacom.
States. Yeah, Wacom. And we destroyed them. What was the score? Like
6-1.
6-1, yeah. So after that game, obviously Wacom wasn't like the best competition, but that game just kind of actually, I think it brought the group together after that. Like, it was a good result, just confidence going forward and stuff like that. And then leading up to the game, yeah, I think that it was just like, we knew we had to just sustain ourselves for the first like 5-10 minutes, kind of just feel it out, because some of the guys have maybe never played like against like a professional team in a competition, though. It's a lot different in a competition rather than just a friendly game, in my opinion, at least. So I think just like feeling the game out the first 5-10 minutes, and I think once we got through that, guys were just, I think minute by minute throughout the game, we got more and more belief. And then obviously when the first goal went in, and then like a minute, 2 minutes later, Ivan scored, it was just like, we're going to win this game. Like, at least that's what's going through my head, at least. And I feel like the team felt that too. After the second goal win, it was just like, we're not losing this game. There's no way.
yeah, you can feel that in the stands. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
As someone who was there, you can feel in the stands. You're like, oh my god, they're like, you're just all honestly, you're kind of sitting there in the stands going, if they just don't concede super early in the second half, like it was almost like, okay, got through the first half up 2-0. Let's sustain it. Come on, like don't sit back all of a sudden. Like keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then Fugo, just a quick question, because obviously you guys Mateo talked about the kind of a little bit stuff going on in the preseason. You're able to work on certain things against Wacom more than UW. UW's a bloody good team, mind you. But looking at that week, was it kind of things where you're consistently working on kind of the same thing about your shape, where you're kind of looking, okay, this is what we're looking to do out of possession, and once we win it, these are kind of our different ideas? Or is it a little bit more, hey, we're going to be super compact defensively, and then as we go forward, take what's given?
I think against Valor, I think everyone was clear. Like, we knew what we were doing. We were preparing like a month to play against a good team, and yes, we lost against what's the name? Washington University. It didn't go as we planned, but I think it was part of the process. And I was also I don't know why, but I was very optimistic. Like, I was confident. The reason why is that, like, okay, I'm from Japan, right? And we lost 2 games before the World Cup. We still beat Germany and Spain. So I had this feeling that, yeah, it doesn't matter the result. It just, I don't know. I'm a very optimistic guy. So I went to the game really confident, and just tried to help the team, play for the team. And that was the mindset I had coming into the game.
All right, then. And then Kyle, last one that I guess before we get into more stuff in the Valor game. Leading up to that, did you guys have a lot of film breakdown? Obviously, with them being a pro team and having DeSantis already been there for a while, you could kind of, I'm guessing you were able to understand a little bit of how they'd like to play when they're doing well.
Yeah, so we had a bit, and it's always hard too, right? Because I mean, they had some of the same guys from last year and stuff, but a new season brings a new team and everything. So you have an idea of the way they want to play, but personnel changes also kind of dictate that, and different players play different ways and everything. And it's so funny because like I'm sitting there going, like, these guys have preseason games. I'll talk to my friends in the league and see if they can help me out with some video, and they're just like, they kept a tight lip on
It's
it.
almost as if
It's
you
like,
should ask
you
someone's
guys,
brother or something. Maybe you could have shared
yeah,
some video.
yeah, maybe.
Pardon?
So you should ask, I think someone's brother's on the team or something like that.
Yeah.
I asked Matrol, he wouldn't give it, honestly. I was actually like, dude, are you kidding me? I was like, if you guys can't beat us and send the video over, like,
Oh,
No,
I
but
love it.
it was kind of like, it was funny to me because I was asking some of the guys in Calgary because I knew they had a preseason game, and they played against Pacific in preseason. We got some video from that as well. But I asked some of the guys in Calgary, and so like the players were just like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And then you ask some of the staff, and they're like, oh, well, we might play you in the next round. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but you'll be in season already. Like, we'll be able to watch you on one side. Like, you're not hiding anything
Yeah.
from us here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's actually hilarious because like you guys are already going to play a couple games.
No, exactly. Like I understand the idea, but the execution is all off.
Oh man. And then obviously Mateo, obviously leading up to it, it was billed obviously as you're coming back from CPL looking for your next opportunity. How good did it feel to get the first one? Almost kind of first half chance where it fell to you. Bang,
Yeah.
quick strike with your left foot, find the corner.
That was crazy, honestly. It was just, yeah, I'm lost for words, honestly, talking about it. Just like straight adrenaline, like, that feeling. Everyone knows that feeling of scoring like a big goal. You're just in a blur, like, you're just like, just running and just celebrating. And it was crazy. Yeah, obviously, it was unreal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I missed it. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I ran to the bathroom. As I'm coming out, I hear this huge cheer. And just the music going, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like I had to sit there. I was like scrolling and reloading on one side to see what happened. All I saw was all of you guys in the corner. Like I didn't even see who scored. What the fuck? What's going on?
I was
Yeah.
saying this last season. Swangard needs a jumbotron.
Yeah.
Jumbotron.
Yeah,
Where?
jumbotron right up in the right. We'll just get two big long arches to hold it up at center field.
Just on the opposite side.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah,
watching the screen rather than the game right below them, eh?
yeah.
Oh my god. And then obviously Fugo and Eric, you guys play on the same side. Right.
Yep.
So kind of talk about that relationship because I'm not gonna lie, you guys down that side, that whole first half was a constant threat. Massive, massive threat on the right hand side. They didn't really have anything coming down the left hand side. So kind of talk about like, how much do you guys kind of communicate together when you're thinking from obviously a defensive standpoint, but then also going forward?
We communicate a lot actually. Fugo like does a lot of talking to me, and like he just kind of tells me where to shift if a winger is popping inside, or he'll tell me that he's going to take a fullback if they start to go high. And obviously, like Fugo was on the team last year, but he said that he got an unfortunate injury, so he didn't play. But this is kind of like our first year actually playing together and getting like chemistry. So ever since like the start of the season when Fugo moved to right back, like I've really enjoyed playing with Fugo. And it just makes it easy when you have someone who's communicating all the time. Because obviously not everybody is very vocal. I'm not saying that Fugo is a guy that's like barking orders or anything, but like he gives the pointers that he does give are the ones that I need to put me in the best situation to help him. So I think our relationship has been good. And yeah, like Fugo, feel free to overlap a few times too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, honestly, like I remember when was the first time we played together on the right side? I think it was
Was it
literally
Valor?
one. No, it was a game before against the Wacom.
Welcome, yeah.
And I played probably 25 minutes as a right back, and then I shifted to the left back. But yeah, so we didn't spend much time to really communicate, but I think we knew what we were doing, and yeah, it worked out well in that game and also yesterday too.
Yeah, I think like sometimes if you have experience and like you've played for a long time, if you have quality, I think that even if you haven't played together for a long time, you can build relationships quickly. So I think that that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that kind of helps with you guys having been able to prepare for so long as well, because you guys have been training for a while, right? So there is a little bit of that being able to get to understand those different relationships and then also how each other communicate, because I think that's kind of a key part in a team like this where, I mean, you guys play in a league where you play against, oh Jesus, what's their name now? Not Samat, probably mispronouncing that, but like they all play together. Like that whole team plays together. They already have that kind of understanding. It's for you guys now to all kind of come together. That preseason is so key. And maybe the UW game where you guys got beat handily, maybe that was like almost at the very least a good lesson of going, oh, we're playing a pro team now. That was a university team. Like we almost, not that you guys weren't going to not take it seriously, but understand like, oh,
Yeah, it's
that
actually
one's on TV.
Yeah, it's
Like,
interesting so far this season because like I feel like even though I think in total we've played what like 6 or 7 games so far, including like preseason and stuff, like there's so many different lessons as a team that we've already had. Like we've had like the slapping against UW, we've had the game where we can show ourselves like what we can do if we actually play well as a team. In the league, we lost to Highlanders, and there was another lesson that for us to always be switched on, even if we're like we have another big game coming up. So it's like it's been such a short and fast start to the season, but there's so many things as a group that we've learned that maybe we didn't have last year. Because I don't even think in the whole of last year we faced as much adversity as we have already. So hopefully that all this stuff at the beginning is going to push us on to have like a really good run going down the stretch now.
yeah,
Well, I
definitely.
think I was gonna say, I think it also helps that like for a lot of us, like there's a good number of us that have played together for years, right? So like, me and Mateo played together at SFU. I played with Ali. I played with Nico.
Hey, we played together on Metro 4 too.
Yeah,
Yes,
did we?
Yeah, we did.
But then you got the guys who play for BB5. There's a ton of those guys that play for our team. And then obviously a bunch of those guys had come from Tigers as well that played with Eric. And then, a good core of us have returned from last year. So it's not as if like, we haven't played together. I think it was just one of those things where we needed that preseason to kind of get back together and get back to all playing, the right way and the way that we should be playing. And I think, even getting absolutely slapped by University of Washington is almost like it shows us where we need to make improvements and what we do well together even too at times. So
I will say if I feel like if we played them again, it would not be 5-0 though.
Oh,
No,
Eric's still
no.
so
4-0.
the Portland Pilot is still so sour about that one.
I have like
The
I have an
Huskies got him
internal
again.
Yeah, I have an internal rivalry there, so that one hurt for sure.
All right, guys. And then so actually finding out like Eric, or I think it was Eric that mentioned that you guys were preparing for like the whole month for Valor. Well, you get Pacific now. You only got like 2 weeks and you have games in between. So how, like, let's look at that kind of process. Right now you have to play a completely new team. On paper, looks like a more difficult task. Obviously with being where Pacific has been, albeit they've lost a couple players, but then they've brought in Issa Ngaro and those guys, right? So what was that process like? Anyone, literally anyone.
Well, I think
it was
like
kind of
go ahead, Colin.
go. No, you go. I feel like you'd give a better answer.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think it just brought sort of like another opportunity for us to kind of focus like day to day. So the coaches were telling us basically throughout the kind of week or 2 weeks leading up to it that we needed to kind of just take it one day at a time and not focus on the next game. But yeah, like I think it was just an opportunity for us to just like do that. But then when actually I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. Kyle, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like word for word, the
yeah.
exact same thing. I was gonna speak for a bit and then trail off.
Yeah, I will say one thing, just kind of like about the feeling leading up to it, though. Like, so as we touched on, like before Valor, there was going to be like a lot of nerves, like for the guys. But my feeling for the Pacific game was actually completely different. Like, I went from kind of being unsure going into Valor to being like really confident playing Pacific, even though like we know the quality that they have, and obviously like playing yesterday. I just felt like, you know what, like that belief that we had shown that we can give ourselves by playing so well against Valor. Like, I just felt like, you know what, we can like walk into their park and we can really give these guys like a proper go. So I think that was kind of like what I felt. I felt like it was within the whole group. So I kind of felt like everybody felt that way. And so that was like really fun to be a part of leading up to the game in training and stuff, because like the vibe in training was really good. And we were like, we were really kind of like, the team chemistry was great going up to it. So I think like the whole trip, like the 2 days there, I really enjoyed being with the team. And yeah, like I think that again, like we put like a great performance in. So like I have like no regrets about the game whatsoever.
Kyle, is that what you're gonna say too, word for word?
It was a little different. Well, I just think like even the first game against Valor, just kind of being in there was, it came as a surprise to everyone, right? Like it wasn't even, it was something that we had talked about before the season, like, is this a possibility, or before the end of last season, saying, is this a possibility that this could happen? And the answer was always no. Like that was just, it just wasn't possible. And then all of a sudden, by September, or what was it, September, October time, it became a possibility, right? Like they started to reach out to all of us and say like, hey, this is happening. And I think my first message to back was, I thought that wasn't happening. So
Yeah,
just the
because they
fact that,
told us it was the next year. Like they didn't. They said that we weren't doing it.
they said like it wasn't a thing. So it wasn't even something that we even thought about. So just being in there in the first round was honestly was great. And then to get past it, just kind of has surpassed all of the expectations that anyone has had for us, even ourselves. Obviously you're never going to go into a game expecting to lose. You never want to go in with that sort of mentality and stuff like that. But if we're being real about it, like that, it is an underdog story as far as like, you weren't supposed to even be there, let alone you weren't supposed to win. And so for this next round, it almost takes even more of the pressure off, because it's like we've already kind of done more than we were supposed to do. So just go out and enjoy it. And I've always found that like when I enjoy it, I play better. If I'm not worried about other things, if I'm not worried about, oh, what if I make a mistake and this could be costly, this could be crucial and stuff like that, you can kind of prepare for the worst, and it can show in your game and stuff like that. But if you're kind of relaxed, if you're not really thinking too much about the negatives and stuff like that, and you just kind of sit there and really enjoy it for what it is, then you're bound to play a good game.
Yeah, for sure. And just part of what I'm just curious about. Obviously, you guys played 2 league games in between, right? So, what was the preparation? Obviously, Eric talked about, hey, we take it one day at a time, one game at a time, kind of thing. Given that you guys had this extra confidence, did you guys feel like you didn't have to prepare nearly, like you said, you spent a month getting kind of prepared for Valor, whereas this one felt like it was almost like we had what, 3 days since your last game against Highlanders?
Yeah, well, I think a good part of that extra month was like just getting to know each other again. So, on that front, the preparation for how we were going to play against Valor didn't really come. It's not as if like that's what we were doing day number 1 all the way through. So the preparation wasn't that much of a difference, but just as far as prepping for the other 2 games was a lot of the same. It was almost like preparing for Pacific on the way type thing. And I think the way we played against Highlanders was even almost like a pre-game for that one, in the way that we played, in the way that we tried to play anyways. So
yeah, I think the preparation was kind of like, we kind of knew that like it was gonna kind of be the same type of game, just like lots of like teamwork and lots of like team defending and like doubling up and like that kind of stuff, and then just like try to be ruthless in our like counterattacks and like pretty direct and stuff like that. But I think like we kind of knew it was kind of going to be the same type of game a bit. Like we weren't going to have the ball as much. They probably were going to have the ball more, and we'll just kind of like try to exploit some of the areas. But yeah, I think that's pretty much, I would say, like how we looked at that game. And then like obviously after the game against Highlanders, it was kind of like we lost that, and we were like, all right, like we can maybe come back to this game and talk about it on like Thursday or Friday and see what went wrong, but like we kind of have to just like forget about it, or else like because we had like 3 days, so we didn't really have time to like start like going crazy dissecting the game and like looking at everything. It was kind of just like, hey, let's just flip the page and we'll come back to that after if we need.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's a pretty good game plan, right? Like when you're especially being in that position, like no, let's make them if they're gonna fucking beat us, they're gonna beat us. We're not gonna let this be easy. Like we're gonna make this really difficult. We're gonna exploit when they send numbers forward, we win the ball. This is the space we want to exploit, right? Like that's kind of the game plan you have to have in that situation. So and I mean honestly, you guys did it for 2 straight games.
Yeah,
You
it's
did it for
so
two
like
straight games.
like we had
to
25
get
minutes left,
undone
man.
to get undone by something like that has got to be
Yeah,
so
that's what I was saying.
frustrating.
I was saying after the game, like if they were gonna beat us, like I would have liked to see, like someone beat 3 players, 2 megs, top bins. You know what? I'll take my hat off and say, you know what? Good for you. Like, like you guys are showing why you are where you are. But like to concede the first goal on such a light penalty, it's like, come on.
Yeah, I think like the again, the manner in which we conceded, like to get like a controversial penalty, like not only obviously are we down 1-0, but it also kind of like deflates the group even more a little bit because of like how controversial it is. Like it's not like one of those screamers where you just kind of like hold your hand up. Like it's just like, oh, like come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Fugo, did that kind of break your heart a little bit as a defender to go like, as an attacker? Like I'm sure you get angry when Eric does that in training, right? Little touch goes down, tries to get something from Will.
Yeah, for sure. It was painful, especially, we only have 25 minutes left until 90 minutes. But I mean, again, second half, Pacific had more energy and yeah, we were defending so hard. And yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like it's football. Football isn't fair and shit happens. And yeah, we were just unlucky in that moment, really.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough too, right? Because once they score, I mean you guys have to now push numbers. You have to. You got to start pushing numbers. So you got to take a gamble. Like at that point, if you guys end up losing 4-0, or say you lose 4-1, but you end up scoring, like it's a cup game. Like there's no draw. You're not playing for goal difference. So you guys are obviously going to push numbers forward. And just looking back on the experience, like each one of you, how do you guys kind of reflect on this whole experience? So having gone through it, obviously, Mateo, you've already been there from that side, but now you've come at it from from the semi-pro side. Like how much of a different experience was it for you playing this time around?
Yeah, it's obviously when I played in the tournament before, it's like we're playing against other CPL teams. So it's just like you're playing against a team that's, supposed to be on the same level as you. You're in the same league and stuff like that. You play against them weekly. So it's just like a cup game against a team that's supposed to be at the same level. But I don't think I've ever really experienced something like this in my career so far. Like you're like so off, like it's just clear you're not the favorites and you're the underdogs, just because the pecking order and everything like that. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, it was really fun. Like the group too, just like coming back to what Eric said, like the team like had like I've been a part of like a lot of teams, but like our team, like we had like this like crazy belief like that we were actually gonna like do something that like Canada's never seen, and like go on to like we thought we were good. Like everyone honestly like thought we were gonna like win that game, like coming into the game. And even at halftime, we were like, the boys were just like, yo, like 45 minutes left, like we can do it. And like we were getting more pressure in the second half. They were creeping up closer to goal, but like I didn't feel like they didn't really create any like clear cut chances, like they hit the post or like someone missed a sitter or anything like that. Like, and I remember like C-Mac talking to me before the game. He's like, looking at me. You guys know C-Mac too. He's like, yo, we're gonna win. Like, he's like easily, like, you know the way he is.
Easily.
You guys know the way he is, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like I was just thinking in my head. I was just like, fuck, like I love that. Like, you know, you just like love when everyone on the team like is just like, it was like a true belief within the group, and that's why it's so disappointing too to go down like that. But yeah, like Fugo said, football, it's not always fair.
I think you need the stuff like that though, like guys like C-Mac and like
Yeah.
Fugo said, like super optimistic guy. Like even though like if you're thinking about things realistically, that it might not be in your favor. Like if you just have that like unrelenting belief and you just like you don't care what the circumstances are, you're just positive and you always kind of back yourself and back the group. I think that can be really infectious in a team environment, and that will like spread to people that might have a little bit of doubt. Then they can pick themselves up and be like, you know what, like we can do this, like it is possible. And I think that we have a really special and unique group because a lot of us feed off of each other's energy, and we're such like a tight knit group. Like I've honestly never played for a team that has like so much like such a bond, and this feels like such a family. And like I've played with a lot of these guys for a few years now, but also even guys that have like just come in this year, like it's been super easy to kind of integrate them into the environment. And yeah, that just like kind of really like came together for all of us. And then like I just love it in the locker room, like before games, like how hyped we get when we're like going to play like big games, and like how like up for it everybody is. Like that just makes the games feel like so important, and it makes like me feel like, especially being one of the older guys, like it makes me feel like I'm like a kid again, like being one of the younger guys and like kind of getting up and like still having stuff to strive for. So I love the team environment. I think it's like so awesome when we get to play those big games. Like I fucking love it.
God, you saying you're old just ages me even more. Fucking hell. Hugo, how
How old
about
are you
you? I turned 29. I'm 2 years older than you. I turned 29 this year, man. I'm almost in
Okay,
the
that's not even
30s.
old.
Fuck. It's creeping up real quick. It'll happen to you guys too. Don't worry. Fugo, how about you? Because you played at you were at York United for a little bit, correct?
Yes.
So for you, like again, now looking at it from kind of both perspectives, like how much different was this experience, maybe even in preparation and stuff from the other way?
Honestly, like even compared to pro teams, like this team has like such a professional environment. Like every session, every training, at least 5 coaches show up and support us, and not just coaches, but like all the fans and all the stuff involved in this team. They're just really amazing people. So yeah, I came to this game with full of gratefulness. Is that the word? I was very thankful, and yeah, I'm just full of like, I don't know. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And yeah, that's my mind at the moment.
There you go. And then Kyle, we'll finish off with you just about, your experience having gone through, again, like Eric said, like you guys are a couple of the older players on the team, and kind of having your first chance at playing in a tournament like this.
I'm sorry, you cut out at the end. What did you say?
Just like your first time playing in a tournament like this and just kind of looking back on the whole experience.
It's been, I've been nothing but thankful for the opportunity even. It wasn't something that I even thought was possible by the end of last season, and then when it did become possible, it was like, all right, like let's take on this next challenge, and we'll see what happens. And then you put in a performance like that against Valor, and you're like, okay, let's see what we can do again. And I think even to Eric's point and stuff like that, like, I mean, I played with a lot of teams. I was at SFU for like 7 years. I played.
Don't sell yourself short. You're there for about 10, buddy.
Yeah, I'm getting a testimonial next season.
Renaming the field after you.
Yeah. Field 4s. Actually, you know what? I've already got a trophy. I've already got a men's soccer trophy named after me. So Yeah.
What is that? The grumpy man?
Yeah.
Most
Yeah,
yellow
it
cards
is.
in the season.
The grumpy man.
Oh, man.
Every year I was there, you won it. And I
No,
remember the last.
Glenn won the year that I tore my ACL.
Did he?
Yeah, Glenn won it because I was never around.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kyle still came in second somehow though.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've been in a lot of teams at SFU, in Calgary, even just like last year, and it's at SFU and at Calgary, it's always a really tight knit group of guys, and because you spend every day together, in Calgary, you got a bunch of guys living together, but just there's something about this group that everyone's just like tight, like thick as thieves. That it's great. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying going to training. I'm enjoying pre and post training and seeing everyone. So the trips have been great. Seeing all the fans and everything is great. I just talked with somebody yesterday about it, and just to have that many fans spend the night on the island just to come and watch us play. And I remember when I was playing in Calgary, playing against TSS, was the first game I ever played where fans brought flares and lit them off during the game. And of course, I don't have my inhaler while I'm playing, and I'm coughing up a lung in center field, going like, "Geez, how's anybody supposed to see what's going on?" But
punting a ball at them.
Yeah, just shoot from half because the keeper can't see.
I think I think like that's something that we like need to touch on. Is just like the support that we got like throughout, like not even just this trip, but like for the years that TSS has been a club. Like just as an example, like after the game last night when we were sitting in the lobby just kind of eating our pizza, one of the Swan Guardians came up to us in the lobby and was just kind of like telling us, and he was basically getting emotional, like he was just by himself and we don't know him, he doesn't really know us. Like he was getting emotional talking about like how much like this kind of journey meant to him and the rest of the supporters, and like just like the joy that kind of we brought to him through like the work that we've been doing as a team. And like it really touches these people. Like these people really care about us and about the club and what it stands for. And that's just a testament to like everything that TSS is building, and like how many people are really like truly buying into it. And these people are like unwavering. Like they'll go, whether it's like pouring rain out, whether it's super hot, like these guys are always out there. All the support on social media, like it's unbelievable. Like when I was in Portland, I played for a university that had a lot of like student support and a lot of community support, but like these guys are like, they're just different. Like they just truly care about us, and they'll follow you. Like for like Mateo and Fugo and Kyle, like all these guys that go like play like at the professional level, like or wherever you go, they're always kind of like seeing like what you're doing, what you're up to, and they provide updates on that sort of stuff, and like it just keeps people interested. They go like above and beyond for like everybody on the team. So like none of this that we've achieved in the Canadian Championship, like in the 2 games that we played, would have been possible without them. Like they completely pushed us to the next level.
No, yeah, for sure. And I think that's an awesome point, Eric. And I mean, just like, from a personal standpoint of someone, obviously 4 of us grew up here. And I think like a huge talking point heading into the World Cup was the fact there's only 1 player from BC in that team. Right. And so for me, one of the things that I've been happiest about to see with you guys and your success is to see like the level of play of players here who are, you're right, we're a little bit older, but to see like it's like you guys are right there. You're right there with them. There's not like, it's not like there's this massive gap whatsoever.
I can touch on that because like I played with like Pacific for 2 years, and like the level now, like coming back to TSS, like I can say that like there's definitely like a lot of guys on our team that like for sure, no doubts in my opinion. Like I played for 2 years now I did with Pacific, and I can honestly say that in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, like you take like for sure, no doubt. Like you take the 20th guy on a team in the CPL and you throw one of us out there and he like replace them, like there's no doubt that that player on our team could go out and do the exact same job, if not better. Like in my opinion, I think that's like any one of us or a lot of us on our team could go out and be that 18th guy on the CPL team. Obviously, that's you want to do more when you're there, but I'm just saying, like I like for sure. In my opinion, I think that, and I think we proved it too. Obviously, over the 2 games, like you can see, like we're going neck and neck with Pacific, and in my opinion, Pacific and Forge are probably the strongest teams in the league, and we're going toe to toe with a team like that. It's credit to like, you know, everyone, all the players, the staff, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally right, man. Like that, and that honestly, guys, like especially for Eric, obviously Mateo, you and Fugo have been in the league, but for guys like Eric and Kyle and Ali and Danilo, Nick, Nico, CMAC, CMAC's actually he would have played in the Lamar Hunt Open Cup in the US when I did too as well. So CMAC's been in something like this, but for him to now be able to do it here in this country where he hasn't been given a chance, it was honestly, guys, it was awesome to see. It's been awesome to kind of follow you guys on your run, and let's be honest, you guys are the storyline. Like Pacific could upset the Whitecaps. The storyline of this Canadian Championship is you guys, though.
You think?
Yeah, 100%, like without a doubt. Because again, you guys are the first League One team to actually advance. Vaughan beat Halifax, but lost.
Yeah.
On aggregate, right? Like you guys are the first semi-pro team to actually advance through a round. Like that's massive.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I guess it fully hasn't sunk in yet, I guess.
Yeah, it's too fresh. Like when
the pain.
I think I'm still gutted because I was really wanting to get that Whitecaps versus TSS match at Swangard. I think that would have been like insane. But
that would have been a movie, literally a dream.
That would have been actually kind of incredible because then it would, like, think about the storylines there. Oh, the Whitecaps are going home.
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah, that's where the 86ers played, and that's where the Whitecaps played for ages when they're in the USL. So, yeah, guys, but hey, just looking forward. We'll kind of just get kind of what you guys are looking forward to for the rest of the season here. Obviously, like you guys have a lengthy League One season now, which is crazy to think about, like all the storylines and everything that's been made of it. Like you guys have only played what, 2 league games?
Yeah. I think now it's just kind of like a test of our character, and like if guys after having this experience of playing against professional teams, if you really want to get to that level, it's like, okay, now we're going to start playing games that maybe it's not as easy to get up for as a game where you're playing in front of like a huge crowd in like a different stadium or whatever. Now you have to be able to still have the same motivation and the same drive to turn up every day and every weekend to play these games, because obviously we know what happens when you don't do that against Victoria. So now we have a season to finish. I guess kind of even start because we only played like 2 games, but now we have to go kind of reclaim our crown and show why a lot of our guys deserve to be at that next level, and that starts from training tomorrow, just through the rest of the season. So we gotta keep it going.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, the hardest thing in football is like coming off those like really high moments, and then, you know, like using that to, like, you know, we're going to be playing like Harborside this weekend, and that's not Pacific, you know, but it's like we're going to have to, it's a different challenge now. But I think like to show like true character and to show what we're really made of, now it's going to be the time where we're going to have to really like roll up our sleeves and show why like we are, and we did what we did in the Canadian Championship. We got to like go into the league and now, and, you know, try and dominate and show our quality.
Kyle, Fugo, anything?
I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, you know. It's not really too much about it. It's only just started. I played in both of our games already, but I'm I'm hoping that the ball keeps rolling and we keep putting in some good solid performances, and we just keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Plugging away.
Yeah, same for me. Now we just need to focus on the league and with the winning mindset. So yeah, I'm very excited for the rest of the season. I think we know what we are doing. We are expected to win the game as well. So it's gonna be a different challenge, but yeah, I think we have great players to win the league, and yeah, we just need to keep working hard.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of presents you guys with a new challenge now, where you guys are coming from these games where literally no expectations to now you have all of them, given the way you guys
That's it.
played.
It's
So
a
it's
complete reverse. And like for a lot of the other teams, like they're obviously, because of what we've done, they're going to want to beat us and show that they're on the same level as us. So yeah, it just gives it's basically the exact opposite. So again, it just goes back to professionalism and the mindset of the group to just all come together every weekend and be professional and do the job. And I fully believe in our guys. Like, I know that we haven't had like the best start to the season, but we'll put that right this Saturday.
there you go. Awesome, guys. Hey, thank you so much for hopping on. We greatly appreciate it. And obviously, at FTF Canada, we are part owners.
Oh, no
So
way.
we are definitely
Thank you.
celebrating.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah. Make sure you keep acting in the best interest of your shareholders, obviously. And honestly, guys, just hey, enjoy the rest of your season, man. It's been awesome to watch you guys so far. And I know I'll be trying to get out as often as I can this summer.
Thanks so much, Adam. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Hey, what do you where are you taking Mom for Mother's Day?
I'm taking her to Browns.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
What are you
coming
cooking?
over this weekend?
Are you cooking dinner on Sunday?
Friday, because Sunday I'm
Oh, that's
working.
bullshit.
Hey, okay.
Fucking
Well,
Mother's
first
Day is
off,
not even doing anything.
okay. Well,
Some
I didn't
son,
ask to
hey?
be scheduled. Take it up with Dawn. All right.
We know who the favorite son is now. So
Yeah.